everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope that your summer is going well. We have some really exciting things to go over, and I think this will be a really impactful session. So I'll go ahead and introduce to you Barry Borthistle, the man that you all know.
Thank you, Christy. I know that a webinar in August is not the best time to have one, and we wouldn't have one except to talk about what's coming on August the 30th. Most of you on the call know about the incredible information that's coming on the live stream with Michael on August the 30th. This call is being recorded, so get it out to as many people as possible when you get the recording sometime tomorrow. It is a most important webinar. Why do I say that? Well, because of what's coming on August the 30th. And so what we want to talk today is about some principles, inspiration to prepare us for what's coming on August 30th. I have a pretty fair idea what's coming. I've never seen anything like it. I think it's going to revolutionize the direct sell industry. We hope to have Garth on a little bit later on this call to share from the field council. He was involved in another call, so we may have a little problem with that. But on the first slide, I realize it's a little bit dark, at least it is on mine. It's the picture of some of the boys from the Thailand story. I mean, that captivated the world from Thailand. It was incredible. And we all prayed, and it was such a phenomenal ending, except for the death of one of the Navy SEALs. So we use the word core principle. So the first thing I want to mention is, what is a principle? Well, it's been defined as this, and I quote, "It's a principle is a unique feature. A unique feature of principles is that unlike concepts and procedures, they are not discovered. They are discovered rather than being invented. In other words, you don't invent a principle, you discover it. And I think that, quite frankly, that the principles that these boys follow probably is a great example of why they are alive today. Principles are the only kind of content which represents truth. And procedures don't necessarily represent truth, but the concept of principles do. And they do it in a very significant way. And so there's no better example than principles, I think, than this story. And it really captivated me. So we'll go to the second slide. And I could talk a lot more about the lessons learned than I am, but I'm going to limit it to 4. These are 4 of the lessons learned that these wonderful boys and their coach said that they learned when they were in this situation for 2 weeks. And we can only imagine what kind of surroundings they had. But the point in spending just a few minutes on this is that they obviously, going into the cave, not knowing what was ahead of them, they obviously had principles that allowed them to come through it as well as they did. I mean, the way these kids came through this was absolutely incredible. The first thing that they said, and this is their words, not mine, we learned to be patient, we learned to be strong, and we did not get discouraged. Well, you don't discover that, you learn that. And that was number 1. Number 2, use your life to be of help to others. And that's certainly true. Number 3 was, do not be careless. And number 4 was, be a good member of society. So those are 4 of the principles that these young, precious boys and their coach had in their minds before all this happened. Then what happened after that was they came out with 3 goals that they learned. In other words, the principles are first, and then they came out with 3 goals. This is incredible. Number 1, that everyone, to the boy, wanted to become a professional football player. In fact, they say one of the reasons that they did survive this terrible ordeal was because they were probably in good shape being football players, soccer players. Number 2 was getting a good education. And number 3 was to make their parents proud. Well, those are tremendous goals of what came out of this experience. And as we look forward to August the 30th, the live stream with Michael Ellison, I got thinking about where we are in Trivita. And I've got a very exciting announcement to make at the end of this, which is really a great story. But here we are, a company with principles. We have what we call them 10 essential principles, or 10 essentials. And when you look at those, when you live by those, try to live by those, then it's far easier to make goals. I thought, well, that really hit me. I know for myself, confession night, the 2 that I have the most problem with is the deep breathing. I have a hard time to be still long enough to practice deep breathing. I really got to improve on that. And then the second one is learning to be thankful. Sometimes I'm not as thankful as I should, but those are some of the 10 principles, and we all know them. So pick 1 or 2 and then try and do something as we go into the fall. And then, of course, the other thing with Trivita is the 10 foundation principles, which really are the goals. So I hope that's of a help to you. Someone's on the phone with a noise. Who's ever on the phone, if you could kind of quieten that, please, so that we don't hear any noise. Thank you. So on the next slide is the major Trivita announcement. It is on, and most of you on the phone have got the email from the company. The live stream August 30th with Michael Ellison, CEO. And this is his words, not mine. I guarantee you will be excited. Then he goes on as part in the letter, and I won't read the whole letter, but I do want to read this one paragraph. This is an unusual, bold announcement, but it is everything and more. When we say don't miss out, you will understand the power of urgency. Plan to be live with me and my special guests on August the 30th, as any delay to watch it later could cost you time and money. Now that is a very, very powerful statement. And if that doesn't motivate you to get other new people on, not just yourself, get new people on and so forth, I don't know what kind of statement would. Also, the new Vita Journal is out. It's terrific. And I know the company would appreciate, if you hadn't already done it, just to let Michael know how great you think the Vita Journal is. So our next guest, if he's on, Garth, are you on the phone?
I am here, Barry, yes.
Oh, he's here. He was just on a long-distance call. Well, Garth is a member of the Field Council. The Field Council is made up of Garth Borthistle, Brian Worth, Tom Trexler, Blaine Olkers, and Cody Ramsey. And they have had a great deal to do working with Michael and the company. It's a real team effort now. They don't make any decisions unless they bounce it off. So your field is very much involved in what you're going to hear on August 30th. Trust me. And so this is an amazing. So I'm going to ask Garth just to say he can't give you the details. That has to come from the company. But I want him just to say a few words on his excitement and what he thinks this can do for your Trivita business. So Garth, go ahead.
Well, thanks for letting me on the call. I guess, first of all, this is a very innovative opportunity. That's what Michael is excited about. That's what we're all excited about. Innovation and uniqueness and one of a kind is probably a bunch of words you could use for what you're going to see on the 30th. Without going into details on it, some of the key things that get us excited is we all know that having as many customers as possible in our organization is the key to having a growing and healthy long-term business. So, but in the past, let's just face it, there's been significant capital that we've had to put in. It's been a good process to do all that, and we understand the power of that. But what if we could do that? What if we could add many new customers to your organization for very little seed capital? And I mean very little. And that's the key to this. We're going to introduce a concept called cycling and why that is the heart and soul of what you're going to hear on the 30th. And, basically it'll benefit everybody. It benefits the company, it benefits us as ITBOs, it benefits the customers, it benefits brand new ITBOs and gives them a clear pathway to building. And I guess lastly, it's really what we've always known in co-op marketing, but it takes it to the next level. It's lucrative, it's profitable, it's sustainable, and I could go on and on and on, but I'll start giving details away, Barry. So join the 30th call. We're going to have some leadership calls right after that in the days following, and we're going to go through it because this is new strategy, and there's some, oh man, I'm chomping at the bit to get going on this, but I'm going to wait. So there you go, Barry. I hope that's enough to tease everyone.
Yeah, that's enough just to tempt us. Well, Garth mentioned customers, and we all know the customer. The most common way to measure a customer, they say, is the value of a lifetime customer. And of course, when you consider that's what we have with Trivita, we have incredible products. Most of them, they're all repeatable. We have follow-up with the Care Center doing a great job. We have blogs. We have the catalog. We have the New Vita Journal. I don't know of any company out there that does a better job of following up customers than it was. And what Garth said, what is coming is so unique. No one's ever done this before. Even as Michael said in his announcement to the field, that even the lawyers have never seen anything like this. And I've shared with a few people, and it's great excitement. So I have on our line our next guest for just a few minutes, Greg Cherenchuk. Greg has purchased the builder pack of 25 customers, and I want to just ask him a couple of questions based upon his response to buying 25. I know he's very happy what's happening with him financially, but the main thing with this is the results. So, Greg, thank you for being on the call. And I guess my first question, are you happy with the results of your 25 customers?
Yeah, Barry, thank you so much for having me on the call. And the answer to that is a resounding yes. And, the way I look at customers is they're a great business asset. And it's been really special to watch and participate in what's happening with those 25 customers. Plus, I've added others since then. And it's amazing in the business world, the principles that you start seeing come to fruition through those 25 plus customers. It's absolutely amazing, Barry. In all my years of business, 25 years, this has got to be the first or a close second to the opportunity that we have as an ITBO with the co-op marketing program and increasing our income, not only immediately, but into the future, as you mentioned, a lifetime value. This thing is going to go like you've never seen it before, Barry. I really do feel that way.
Thank you, Greg. Now, the next question is, I know some of your customers reorder MyoHealth. When they get the catalog or information, are you finding that any of them are ordering some of the other products that are displayed in our catalog?
You know what I've seen, Barry? It's a really interesting question because initially the first 30, 60 days, they were very committed to a lot of them auto order. Now I'm starting to see, because I review their orders, I keep a very close eye on the volume of each customer, looking through my back office. And now some of them are starting to add additional products, which equates to additional income.
That's exciting. Then the other question I have is there any, are there certain products that they're reordering other than the MyoHealth? Is there seem to be favorites? Do you have a kind of an idea as to what other products they are ordering?
Not really, Barry. It seems to be hit and miss. There's no pattern. I think with them getting the Vita Journal and the catalog, I think it's educating them on their health and wellness, and they're purchasing products and leaning towards products that they want to improve their health in. So
Right.
I don't really see any pattern.
Okay, that's fair. Now, the last question is, we all know that relationships is the key in building any business, whether it be employees or customers or marriage or raising kids. It's all about relationships, which is becoming very difficult these days, particularly with all the new technology, and everybody's on their cell phone and no one's talking to anybody anymore. I don't want to get started on that, but
Yeah.
Dr. Phil said, develop a relationship with people and they will follow you anywhere. Do you have a couple of 1 or 2 examples of how you have built a new relationship with follow-up or whatever you do in building relationships with any of these customers?
Oh yeah, Barry. I mean, I've made several calls to the field and to customers, and the response is absolutely amazing. It's just,
Really?
they can't believe that someone would call them and take an interest in their health and wellness, and when I call, my motive isn't to sell a thing. So when I make my call, I tell them right up front, hi Barry, this is Greg with TriVita. I just wanted to call, see how I'm making out with the product, and I'm not selling you anything today. And you hear this big sigh of relief. They cannot believe that someone would take the time and just and value them as a TriVita customer.
Well, folks, that is such great advice because, as I mentioned, we are living in a world where relationships are going down the tube real quick. And when people find out that someone takes an interest in you, they just open up, and that's very much part of. We've got some people doing phenomenal jobs in this area. We're going to have them on more webinars, as Garth mentioned. So, Greg, thank you very much for the information tonight, and we appreciate what you're doing. Keep it up. Now, the next slide. And you can get this if you want to write it down now, or you can get it on the recording. But Les Brown, I love Les Brown, and he has a YouTube, and we can't show it on our screen, otherwise I would. But there is the clip. I really, really encourage you to watch that. If you don't have time to write it down now, when the recording comes out. Les Brown, a great motivational speaker, a great guy. The YouTube is only 6 minutes and 35 seconds long. I really, really encourage you, because he says in here, you have within you, like the bamboo tree, greatness. But the foundation has to be built. So let me just give you a little bit of information before we bring on our last speaker. The bamboo tree is a humble plant, but it is stronger than steel. I didn't know that. Number 2, it is the world's fastest growing plant. I did not know that. Number 3, it helped Edison discover the light bulb. I didn't know that. It can grow as much as, get this now, 30 inches in one day. In Europe, the trees have been known to go as high as 130 feet and more meters, or less meters. I don't know. I like the old system. Anyway, here's the key. Listen carefully. Les says, and I researched it and he's right, when a bamboo seed is planted, it takes 3 to 5 years in the ground, building the foundation before it bursts through the ground. But once it bursts through the ground, there's absolutely incredible growth. And I think that is a perfect picture of where we are with TriVita. We've had 3 or 4 years of a new business model due to circumstances beyond our control. And now we have been planting the seeds. And on August 30th, Michael Ellison is going to talk about this, and you do not want to miss it. So before we bring on our final speaker, I urge you, when you get the recording, to send this to as many people as possible. Make sure that you sign up for the live stream, and make sure that when you sign up for it, that the word opportunity is a capital O, and watch this, because you are not going to be disappointed. Well, I've asked a good friend of mine, and you've heard him before, and he's very much part of our future. And what we're going to be talking about is Ryan Walter. Ryan Walter was a hockey player, professional hockey player, captain of the Montreal Canadiens, sorry Americans, but the best hockey team in the world. They've won 25 Stanley Cups. In the film that was made, when 1980, when U.S. beat Russia, we all remember that. They did a film, I think they filmed it in Vancouver, and Ryan was the referee in that. Now, Ryan comes out with great blogs. I'm going to ask him to close the call by talking about his latest one, which talks about the future, the positive expectations. I thought that fit exactly where we are. Our future's involved. It's very positive, and we have massive expectations. And even Ryan, I know, will agree with the bamboo story, because Ryan has told me he wasn't necessarily the best skater or so forth, but he had the right attitude. So it's a pleasure to introduce Ryan Walter, who's going to close this out by talking about the concept of future positive expectations. So Ryan, Captain Ryan, take it away.
Thank you very, very much. And thanks for allowing me to be a part of your call. I love the story of the bamboo. That is awesome. I've heard that before, and I'm going to go look at the YouTube of Less is Awesome. So I'll go see that. Wanted to share a quick story, and then I'll just finish off. When I was 16 years old, I don't know if you know this, Barry, but when I was 16 years old playing junior hockey, I ended up getting tripped by a big defenseman, and I fell hard into the goalpost. And back in the days when in hockey the goalpost didn't move, the net didn't move, and so the thing that moved was my knee, and it literally wrapped around the goalpost, and it was right away it went hot. I remember that, very hot, and so I ended up going into the dressing room, talking with at the time couldn't move my knee, and talking with the doctor, and the doctor said, you've got a very serious knee injury here, and we need to operate. So my mom and dad drove up from the Lower Mainland. I was playing in Kamloops, British Columbia, and I went into a 5-hour operation, and the two doctors did a brilliant job. They sewed the inner ligament together. They took out the two cartilages, but they couldn't fix the little piece of the knee that sort of pulls together. And they said if a little vein doesn't reconnect, Ryan's going to have trouble. Well, here's what the doctors said to my mom and dad after the operation. They said, Mr. and Mrs. Walter, we've done everything we can. We think we've done a great operation. We are pretty sure that Ryan's going to walk again, but we don't think that he'll skate.
Really?
And it's interesting in life, Barry. We all have these times in life where we have to decide what we're going to believe, right? Like if I believed the doctors as a 16-year-old, I would not have played hockey again. I would have gone on to be a lawyer or something else. And it's funny. What's good news about being a teenager? You don't believe parents anyway. So just go ahead and believe what you want to believe. And I think that's a key component to future positive expectation. So many people get stuck believing what they think they have to believe instead of believing what they want to believe. And the expectations that we have about our future positive is, in an amazing way, often guides the direction of our life. Wow. So really excited about Michael's call. Jenny and I are thrilled to be part of your team, and just want to encourage people. It's never what happens to us, right? It's the way that we respond to things that happen to us.
Right.
It's never about the broken knees. It's about the next step. You know, what after hard times, what is our future positive expectation, and how do we sustain it?
That's good advice. Well, that's very encouraging to me because that's what the August 30th is about. It's about the future. It's very positive, and trust me, it has huge expectations. So thank you, Ryan, for sharing that with us. And we've tried to keep our calls to 30 minutes. Christy does a great job of the slides, doesn't she? Just does a super job, and we've got a lot more coming. So we try to keep these to 30 minutes, and we've done it again. And so there we go. So you wrap it up, Christy, with the announcement again.
Okay, thank you, Barry. So thanks everybody for being with us tonight. And just to remind you once more, the live stream will be on August 30th with Michael Ellison. So you don't want to miss this. And just a reminder, the password is opportunity with a capital O. So you want to be sure to remember that, and we'll be sending this recording out so that you'll be able to go over it again and see that great YouTube clip and get that information out there for your announcement. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for being with us. We will see you soon. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Bye now.
Bye.